Ladies and gentlemen, who's ready for some Donkey Kong? Before we go forward, let me get some music going. Whoop, nope, nope, nope. There we go. I have a friend request, which I'm not going to look at right now. Okay, let's get some cool music going. There we go. There we go. Yes, industry. I already finished most of the boring audit, so I thought I'd go ahead and do this. So there's where we're actually at. If you want to get your guesses in, you should probably do so relatively quickly. We actually will not be here very long. So let's finish up World 8. And see how we do. I'm excited to start the next game. Legend of All, does that count? I think it counts. I'm gonna have to go for the jump. What? Why do you choose now to look at me? Look at the screen at least. There's more stuff moving on the screen. He's been ignoring me all morning, and now he's like, wait, you're doing something. I must see what you're doing. Except he's not looking at what I'm doing, he's looking at me. Oh. Okay, you know what? Hang on. This is silly. Giga, I hesitate to ask this, but why are you facing fiery death of lava? Just in case. Okay, so you just got a balloon there. Just in case. It is very normal. Like, every time I'm going to the bathroom, it's like, oh, lava death. There it is. I'm just resigned to it at this point, Sub-Zero. This is just my life. Remember, kids, don't hope, for there is none. That's a good point. I bet Giga steps on D4s all the time, so that's logical. Okay, so that's locked in. So, this is one of those sections where we got stuck for a long time the last time we played this game. In fact, I mentioned there were a few stages I remember from World 8. This is one of them. Yeah, you see where this is going. The worst thing about these kind of auto-scrollers, because let's be clear, this is an auto-scroller, is that there's no speeding it up, which I know sounds like I'm just being impatient, but what that means, practically speaking, is any screw-up means having to redo large sections, which take a while, over and over and over again. And of course there's no checkpoints here, because why would there be? What's wrong with you? Just gonna accept that. Pursuant to my earlier point, I'm dead. The best strategy I've found for these kind of levels is to take my time and not rush any particular jump. Also, this is really easy to die on, and it's really easy to miss out on that G. By the way, to catch that, no checkpoints, that whole section. Yeah, trust me, we've gotten to that last part not knowing it was coming. Like, that counts as a gotcha. Because the lava, if you didn't catch it, not only is there the lava increasing rapidly, but also the screen starts to scroll, which gives you another kill plane. So you have less than a second for each thing. Also, if you miss the G, sucks to be you, do the whole stage all over again. So enjoy a negative. Yeah, the lava's rubber. Actually, in some stages, thankfully this stage doesn't do that, but some stages actually do have rubber banding lava, and let me tell you, that is the worst. It's exactly what it sounds like, Jay Palmer. Lava that goes faster when you're going faster and slower when you're going slower. Sorry, I have no idea what that sounded like on the camera. This is my Kleenex box. Okay. 8K. Oh, this looks easy. I mean, the newest one is a platform, if you could put it. Well, I'm afraid you are objectively wrong. It's like saying Mario Odyssey isn't a platformer. But it literally is. But yeah, there are a few Donkey Kong games that are not platformers. There's the puzzle games, there's me dying. No, Luke. I have beaten several of them. So you mean it's a good platformer? Yeah, good. Oh yeah, there's the rhythm game. So we got the rhythm game, we got the puzzle games. I suppose there's the original Donkey Kong games, which is getting into technicalities, so... Yeah, I'd say every other Donkey Kong game is a platformer. Yeah, Ben One Eye. Actually, maybe not. Let me think about that now. Now I'm challenging myself. No, I suppose that could work. For example, Giga could say, well, it doesn't feel like a platformer. She is objectively wrong, but subjectively correct, because it doesn't feel like a platformer to her, even though it is. I mean, it's not like it matters. Honestly, the only reason I care about genres is because it's useful for my job. Common points of reference, common comparisons, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, what's a mainline Mario game? What's a mainline Kingdom Hearts? Okay. Okay, that's cool. I accept. This is the irritating part, having to jump out every single time just to get my freaking jetpack back. Thank God there's a jetpack right here. I know now, Mook, more than ever. Kingdom Hearts is light. And then Elon Musk fades away as the darkness in him is destroyed by the light. I was going to say, we talked about this during the Kingdom Hearts 1 stream. The actual in-universe entity of Kingdom Hearts, nobody actually knows what it is. We, the players, have theories. But, I'm just going to use all my items on this level. Screw it. Why not? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were telling a joke. I apologize. Let me rest my hand so I can do this properly. Yeah, it is a JRPG that is an action band. I mean, that is extremely possible to go to. A lot of people have theories as to what Kingdom Hearts is in-universe. I don't have a lot of facts. It occasionally has Final Fantasy characters. It definitely has Disney characters, because it's primarily a Disney vehicle. Disney actually owns Kingdom Hearts. Square just produces it. With Disney mandates, I think is the best word to use for that. Starts with Outlaw. And done. One of the better K levels, honestly. I actually don't think it's positive worthy. I think it's just not negative worthy. And you can see which K levels I just finished. Because it was right there on the thing. Okay, so. let's do this. So it's time for the final boss, okay? Now, there's a world after this, which is why we're not closing the guessing game yet. So what do you think the final boss is? I mean, obviously it's the giant tiki, and that's been in the map the entire time. It's not really what I was asking, though. Yes, that's right. The final boss is a rocket barrel section. Because of course it is. Fresh reminder, any hit is instant death. Donkey Kong Country Returns, ladies and gentlemen. Just stop playing before you get to World 8. I'm sorry. Just don't even do it. Did you notice how the game mandates you be ahead to get ahead of the hands, but then punishes you for being ahead because you can't see what's coming? Did you notice that? Really close. I keep thinking the clouds have collision too. I shouldn't have made that. Oh, thank God. So who said Andros again? I like we're just sitting here watching all of this. Remember, they reproduce. They construct more tikis with bananas. No, I know you're thinking it. No. No. So anyways, Andros. There's actually a lot of ways to speed this fight up. I'll give it that. I am not good enough to do that, though, as you can see. Why are there bunnies going by in the background? my heart. I needed that. I actually forgot about the shockwave entirely. Oh, now you give me a heart. Thanks. Thanks, game. Could you spare a heart? I disagree with that. The good news is we don't have to do the rocket section again. No, the collision's actively bad on this fight. No joke. Dig. Yeah, the shockwave hitbox is tall. You probably didn't even notice it, but there's also a feature of his head that has a pushback mechanic to it. In other words, if you hit it, you bounce off of it. I actually don't know how to jump over the hands without Diddy. It's okay, if I want Diddy back, all I have to do is redo the rocket section. Yeah, I'm not impressed with this final boss. I never have been. I'm not sure, Rax. I don't actually know what hit me in the last fight, which is probably a bad sign. Hang on, I'm trying to understand what Chill Pangolin says. What do you mean? It looks like a cool fight. It's just, you know, extremely frustrating to do. Oh, that's just a dick move then, game. Fine, whatever. We're gonna be here in a minute. Oh, my best run was my first run, of course, because I still had Diddy. And now we're just stuck here. Unless I just agree to go do the rocket section again, which I really don't want to do. No. cannot duck under. So anyways, this is a Sonic game. I'm just saying, this is a Sonic game. Fine. Swallow my pride. This game really likes to have memorization and its level design, which I usually refer to as gacha. And its bosses are bullcrap. Like, we've already fought the egg robot. Come on. Excuse me, the death egg robot. Just to get it on the thing. There we go. Oh, 100%. Chip moment. I mean, I spent 2 hours responding to posts, Sobacom. Possibly for nothing? We'll find out. I did my due diligence, though. So we're just gonna blow everything. Just everything on this stage. You've been dying a lot. Yeah, all in. All or nothing. Well, that was irritating already. Okay. Round 8, 15? I don't know. God, that's irritating. So here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking. This is, I don't remember the name of it. It's the Emerald place. It's the Master Emerald place. Where the echidnas are from. Angel Island, there you go. I mean, Undermine, statistically speaking, towns and cities tend to be the best looking places visually in video games. No, Spartan. And I never will until tonight. Hopefully my add-on will be fixed by then, because I'm getting a lot of errors right now. Now, I think I mentioned this before. I don't actually play MMOs solo. Except for Final Fantasy 11 and 14. But no, for real, I don't. So I waited for the group. That would actually be a dick move if I were to do that. What do you mean, Rex? Just because I have all these bots watching me? According to Twitch. That's just mean game, but whatever. Oh, come on. You know, you're legally obligated to be vulnerable at least for a second. Jesus Christ. See, when you have the jetpack, you can make that jump a lot easier. Just doing it as Donkey is insane. So, Donkey's the Hulk. Oh, I have no idea, Spartan. Yeah, by the way, going up to space again. Again. For all intents and purposes, that's the ending. Not a terrible ending. I've never, like, there's a lot of paperwork I have to do at the end of any given game, Luke, so I've never, like, immediately jumped into the next game. Because, basically. But we're not done with the game, which is why the guessing game hasn't been cut off yet. So let's go ahead and speed this up. Whoa, banana. Because the ancient Kongs mastered laser technology, obviously. So back in the original game, the Golden Temple was just kind of a finale thing. It was like, you did it! But in the 3DS version, and therefore the version we're playing, it actually leads to a whole additional world. So when you go here, I'll actually show you what happens when you're not ready to do it. So it looks like I need 4, 5, and 6. Oh, it does actually tell you that Cranky sells the other ones. Nice. I was wondering about that. It also tells you that you need to go to the other K levels. Or buy them with coins, which is what we're doing. Hang on. Here, I think? Yes. Or we could just do the K levels. No. So I will take 1 ore, please. I don't know when they added this Blue Fusion Vault, because it wasn't in any of the versions of the game I've played. He also mocks you for doing that. It says earning it is too hard for you, so you want to do it the easy way. Bah. Whoops. Pay attention, Laura. Actually, hang on. I'm curious of something. Really quick, before we advance. Why, yes, I would like the super guide. Thank you. The original Donkey Kong would score like most arcade games would. That is to say, it kind of wouldn't, you know? It is not set when that's going to be, or how long it's going to be. It's not even at the correct space necessarily in the schedule. I actually got pretty far on this stage until I got to a specific section, and then I made an extremely small mistake and died instantly and lost all motivation to keep trying. I'll point out where I made the small mistake. It really was just a dinky mistake, too. It's just... It's demoralizing, right? At a certain point, it's like... Oh. Okay, then. We will not do the awful block before Schrodinger's Dark. I've already decided absolutely that we're going to go ahead and have the awful block as our welcome to the new place stream. Per tradition, we will start the new place with a terrible game. I know what you're thinking. You still haven't gotten to the horrible part? Nope, still haven't made a mistake. It was right here. It was right here. And I just slipped and fell into the lava and instantly died. That's it. And yeah, there's the end of the stage. Yes, play to all. Assuming nothing else gets funded. Yeah, I didn't think it counted. I was curious if it would give me one of the orbs for doing that. Didn't think so. It said at the beginning that items you collect would not carry forward. So like puzzle pieces, Kong letters, etc. Wasn't sure about orbs. So anyways, we just got the 7 Chaos Emeralds. There's actually 8, so... Oh, banana. Not right now, Blade Tabal, no. Why would your first thought be to peel it? Why would your second thought be to eat it? Well, they're dead. Welcome to World 9. No, Jay Palmer. I mean, the outside would be July. So World 9 was added with the 3DS version. But I've only played through these levels once. Each one is modeled after the themes of one of the previous worlds. So this is obviously World 1's. I'm keeping my mouth shut, because I do have strong memories of these levels, but... I'm keeping my mouth shut. I don't know how much this game cost. Anyone feel like looking it up? Look so freaked out as they're falling to their death. Actually, I withdraw the question. Oh no, absolutely, Chill Pangolin. They really like their 3D stuff. It's also designed for a smaller screen. You can tell just at a glance. Yes, Dr. Winter. They're already on the website, even. Not that you would check the website, I understand. The 3Ds have good 3D effects. I mean, yeah? Yes, technically. I never really used it because it was just a gimmick that doesn't really matter. I can't quite make that. Ah, well. Like, I would play with 3D off, because of course I would. And I'd turn it on for like a specific scene or a level. And then turn it back off. Really, Mook? So, okay. That's valid, you're right. Anytime a block gets funded, I strip all of the games, all of the games from the 3 separate sources that keep track of blocks, which for those of you wondering is the blocks page, the Lord list page, and the list page, right? Because the block is funded, there's no reason for it to be on any of those pages anymore. Because now it's on the funded page. In fact, it's even in chat right now, if you glance at that. Third Birthday, Echo the Dolphin, Prince of Persia DOS, Warcraft 1, Pokemon Red. Because I don't just put the block on the website in the queue, I put the games in the block in the queue. Faster. Oh, wow. Oh, I got another shot at this, at least. I like how they're asleep before you murder them, too. Horrifically and brutally, of course. Really, Ben One Eye? Which ones, if you don't mind me asking? I am casually looking forward to Warcraft 1. Partially for curiosity's sake, and partially because Warcraft 1 has cheats, so I'm not super worried about it. And I'll tell you the game on that list I'm actually worried about. Third Birthday. Ugh. That game is so bad. I've actually played it before. One of the earliest videos I ever did on YouTube was about Third Birthday. I like that stage. But if you were paying attention, you may have noticed something unusual about that stage. Did you catch it? I don't blame you if you weren't, because everyone's talking about the alpha block. Well, obviously there's no con letters. Yeah, it was good. It was actually the thing I'm going for, specifically, is that it's not designed to punch your teeth in. I've been trying to stay quiet about this whole time because I was worried that my memories were wrong, but my memory, World 9 is not there to punch your teeth in. Unlike, say, World 8, whose only purpose is to punch your teeth in. Like, that's World 8. Yeah, if you know anything about super optional mega stages, that's actually pretty unusual for this. Yeah, you want to hear something funny, Ben One Eye? I have never beaten Prince of Persia on DOS. So that's another one I'm worried about. Anyways. Yeah, exactly, Rex. That's exactly why I bring that up. Yeah, compare B-sides, which we did earlier, and it's just... Oof. I'm going to rebuy a few things, because I don't need coins for anything anymore. And buy a couple of balloons while we're here. So, World 2. I don't want to preface this too much because I'm still waiting to be wrong. But by memory, this felt like more of a celebration of each world's themes, gameplay themes, rather than, alright, you got this far, did you? Time to die. Again, this stuff was not designed by Retro, too, so keep that in mind. They give you image gallery stuff, sorry. Also, multiple checkpoints per stage. Forgot about that tidbit. Yeah, there's not a lot of verticality. Almost like these were designed for a 3DS. It's exactly what it sounds like. Sorry, it's a gallery of images. I don't know what to say to that. It's a place where you look at images and go, oh, these images are so imagey. I mean, that's not even possible, Blue Fusion Fold, but that does sound terrible. So I was actually thinking about that, Ben, when obviously some game, we were talking about this recently, Rax can attest to this because he was part of this conversation. We were talking recently about historically significant games. And to use an analogy, because I love my analogies, Doom is more historically significant than Tank Commander. In fact, I bet several of you in chat have never even heard of Tank Commander. But I have a feeling most of you have heard of Doom. And obviously that's kind of like a sample size thing, but you get my point, right? It's, I don't remember, it's one of the arcade games from the 70s, Vector Art. It is arguably the first FPS. So, do we cover the first FPS ever made, which is barely a video game, or do we cover the one that's actually historically significant? And several people, I actually asked for suggestions, got a bunch of good ones, got a bunch of terrible ones, and part of the problem is people kept suggesting games like Doom, for example, which was one of the first RTSs, still not actually the first, but one of the first, but like, how much of an impact it had? How much relevance it has? That's a good question. By contrast, two RTSs that are on the list, yeah, that actually is it, Jay Palmer. By contrast, two games that are on the list for covering are Command & Conquer 1 and Warcraft 1, because those are the ones that are really significant when it comes to pushing RTS as a genre. I don't understand the question, Jay Palmer. Cat, why are you doing that? Why is that your hangout spot? Yeah, I don't even care. I would say StarCraft is more relevant than any of the other ones. So, Warcraft 1 and Command & Conquer 1 were financial successes in an era in which RTSs basically weren't a thing. I would call them the innovators for really designing what modern RTSs look like. Virtually every RTS made after Warcraft 1 and Command & Conquer 1 was made based on the bones built by those two games. And yeah, Warcraft 1 introduced actually having two separate resources. Terribly balanced, of course, but two separate resources in order to be able to actually track, like... I'm saying this wrong. It introduced an aspect of level design, because all of a sudden you could have what's called a bottleneck resource. Now, they didn't use it as a bottleneck resource, but that is what it did. It introduced that concept. Now, Warcraft 2 is what really ran with that, which is arguably more significant than Warcraft 1 for that response, because Warcraft 2 also added something else to the RTS scene. Multiplayer. Well, obviously StarCraft gets a lot of credit for pretty much being the RTS game for multiplayer, even now. The fact is that Warcraft 2 is what really broke that particular jar open. Warcraft 1 had multiplayer, so did Command & Conquer 1, but neither of them had multiplayer. No real multiplayer support, no real scene to speak of, no real backing from the devs. It was the same as most multiplayer was in early PC games, aka, hope you have a modem and the exact phone number of the person you're dialing into. And good luck getting that working properly. Or a LAN. Those were a thing. Gotta have pissed sounds. No and yes, respectively, Mook. I will pretty much never recommend Warcraft 3 before. At least not until I play the new version. Again, another simply fun, chill level. Why is that? Oh, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start. Okay. Yeah, we streamed Reforged. Go watch the stream. But if you want the super summary, I'll give you two sentences, okay? The graphics suck, and because they rebuilt it from scratch and didn't know what they were doing, they screwed with the balancing, design, and bugs of the game. So Warcraft 3 Reforged is literally, objectively, a worse game. But it's also not optional. Which, you know, I don't technically count against the game from a review perspective, but from a real-life perspective, was a terrible, terrible move. Now, they did an update a few months ago when they released Warcraft 1 and 2 Remastered. I have not played Reforged since that update, so I don't actually know what has been done to it since then. Yeah, Reforged... There's actually a lot to say about Reforged and why it is the mess that it is. What it boils down to is... yes, Benoit. The team sat down and really wanted to make what I'm going to refer to as a remake of Warcraft 3, which meant pretty much taking the StarCraft 2 engine and redesigning Warcraft 3 from the ground up within it. They had started development on that and were basically nowhere on development of that because that's a huge job. That's basically making a whole new game, even though you have the existing blueprints, because new engine, new physics, new concepts, new mechanics, new controls, etc. There's a lot of work that goes into that. Then Crony, who I have refused to learn his name because all he was Codex Crony, said, we need to release this quarter. I mean, that's it. There is a lot that went into it. There's a lot of details and story and nuance that goes into that story, but that really is the only part that matters. So yeah, Reforged was absolutely flung out the door. Very unprepared, very unpolished. A few people quit the company over it, because, you know, nobody was happy about that. Literally had false advertising. I don't remember if anybody ever actually did sue them or if they were settled on that, but it was the kind of false advertising that was legally enforceable. And if you don't understand why I mention that, most false advertising cannot be sued over. Because legality is legality, and there's a whole lot of gray area in what qualifies as false advertising. Yeah, exactly, Mook. Like that's kind of why I make this point. They really had to work at it to earn that particular distinction. Whoops. Using Chrome for their freaking menu. I don't even. Like I said, there's a lot of little details that go into Reforged. Bottom line, it was supposed to be a much better project and a much more ambitious project, and was shoved out the door. Very unfinished. I can't believe I managed that jump. Hi, Melkor. Wait. Oh, no, yeah. Yeah, this probably is the third best Donkey Kong Country game. Or Donkey Kong game. It's a weird thought. Trend continues. Notice the difficulty is ramping up slightly, but it's still fair and it's still fun. Yeah, when I say the graphics sucked, I mean it. You can really tell they just applied a polishing filter to the existing models. I say polishing filter, that's not a formal phrase. I have no idea what that's actually called. A claymation filter? I don't know what to call it. Uh-oh. This is it. It's time for the level to suck. Because it's a minecart level. Or not. Actually, yeah, Jay Palmer, quite frankly. Now, I'd take WoW vanilla models over the Reforged models. And that's speaking of someone who unironically likes the Warcraft 3 vanilla models. Go ahead, make fun. It's okay. I accept it. It's pretty much the 3DS version with better controls, Malcolm Blade. And less hand cramp. So, good. Yeah, no, Warcraft 3, we'll talk about this if we ever review the original Warcraft 3, did something that the early 3D games figured out. They realized they couldn't really use textures super well, and so they focused instead on shaped polygons to try and convey things. A perfect example, the Nathrezim. The Nathrezim were supposed to have big, wicked-looking fingernails, claws, basically. But they couldn't do that. They did not have the engine, they didn't have the style to it, or the tech to it, excuse me, so instead they focused on style. So instead, the fingers on the Nathrezim are just points that come straight out. But it works. It gets across the idea. Rather than being literally what you're looking at, which would be higher fidelity graphics, it's conveyed through style. The Nintendo approach, basically. If I was paid $1 million to punch one of two people, who would I pick? I'm getting paid to punch these people? I'd go after Iger. That's on me. You cannot struck the Zuck, Wolverale. Ooh, okay. Well, it's just a punch, you know. Although I do hit very hard. Ooh, okay. If George Lucas is secretly paying me, wow. I mean, Georgie's the one who sold his children into slavery, I'm just saying. I don't actually blame George for that, legitimately. The more you know about that story, the more you realize he was in a really bad headspace and was looking for a successor. Thought he found it. That jump. He did find Filoni, and for both good and bad, Filoni is our next George. But he thought he found it in Iger, specifically the actual person. Not like Disney as a company. Oh my gosh. Keep thinking I failed at a jump, succeeded at a jump, but I've already stopped pressing the controls because I thought I failed. So I'm relaxing my hands for the next attempt. That's killed me like 3 times now. I shouldn't have gone for that. Oh my god. Oh, it's messed up, Mr. Red. Again, the more you look into the Lucasfilm to... the Star Wars to Disney sale, the more messed up it is. And it is 100% people taking advantage of George, who, for all of his many, many flaws, is actually a pretty legit dude, who really did just want a successor for his baby. He wanted to walk away from Star Wars and hand off the reins to someone he thought could take care of it properly. And you know what? Honestly, any creative type in chat right now could probably understand, at least intellectually, that particular drive. You'll notice Lucas has pretty much completely left the public eye. Although he has apparently been able to spend a lot of time with his kid, which is great, because those two have reportedly always had a great relationship. Yeah, like I said, I don't really blame Lucas for that one. Not really. And if I'm being honest, we have gotten quite a bit of good stuff out of Disney's purview. It's just Iger can go directly to hell, because he really is just an empty suit. And I know what you're thinking, but no, that's sort of the problem. Remember how we talked earlier about how Elon Musk has too much influence just because he's got the resources, the money? Like, even if he was the best person in the world, he just has insane influence. Iger is kind of the same way. He's just another empty suit, but he happens to be at the head of freaking Disney. So he has a lot more negative effect on the world than a lot of other empty suits do. Alright, Star Wars is dead because of... hang on, let me check my notes. Looks like there's lightsabers now? When did they add lightsabers to Star Wars? Did anyone else get this memo? Exactly, move. Except me, obviously. A light whip? Oh my god. That's it. Warcraft is dead. Don't you mean Star Wars? No. I'm gonna go ahead and chop off the guessing game. Here, actually, let me reset it there. There. If you haven't got your guess in, this is your big shot. We've got, looks like 5 more stages. So we're approaching it. Now, there's no new final boss, so this is it. This is our finale. I love how quickly they convey. Alright, here's what you're in for. Damn it. No numbers are crunched, Benoit. But the score on the screen is up to date. All you have to do is see it with your eyes. Can someone tell Ben and I what the current score is? Because I actually literally can't see it with my current setup. Oh, by the way, the selling your children into slavery comments, since I never explained that. George himself said that in a moment of what I can only refer to as honesty. He walked that back hard and was like, no, I didn't mean it, blah, 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 blah. But if you ever watched the scene, the interview where he says that, no, he meant that. he legitimately felt awful and betrayed and angry about that deal. And he should. Wow, okay. Okay. Anyways, WoW sucks. And this is a dead game. But not as dead as FF14, which is even deader. But neither of those games are anywhere near as dead as FF11. So you've seen triple. This is now single. Hope you like that escalation. Shutting down LucasArts is one of the things I really don't. I mean, we've talked about this before. Disney is weirdly anti-video game, and kind of always has been. Except occasionally, when one particular executive has managed to argue for, video games to be a thing. And shutting down LucasArts is a perfect example of that. Wow, there's a lot of spiderwebs around here. I hope that's not indicative of anything. That's true, they did make the best MMO ever made. Disney's Toontown. Which they killed a good and promising MMO over. That's actually not a joke, by the way. Earth and Beyond got killed for Toontown. And Earth and Beyond was definitely a Silver Age MMO, and all that implies, but it had a lot of potential. But its budget, personnel, and literal hardware were shuffled over to Toontown instead. Was Toontown any good? No. Which I'm just going to say nice and simply to make it clear that there's no joke here, because I know I joke a lot, but no. I mean, it wasn't Hello Kitty Island Adventure, but... yeah, there functionally was no game there. That's the simplest way to put Toontown. I don't mean that as an insult, I mean that as a statement of fact. There was no game under it. No, Colgrim. I missed it completely. Alright, hope you got those guesses in, because now I'm chopping it off. Especially for Colgrim, who doesn't have the option to put his guess in right now if he does it right now. Colgrim, just get your guess. Why aren't you guessing? Guild Wars 2, True Whisper. So far, I'm liking every single one of these stages. I'm just waiting for one of these to disappoint me. Speaking of which, World 6. Well, you'll see in a minute, Jay Palmer, because the original level is actually still in this version of the game. No, this is just a fun victory lap, and you know what? That's awesome. One of the Mega Man designers, one of the Mega Man level designers, let me be very clear, I don't remember his name, forgive me. I talked about this earlier. Had this idea for level design, which was considered crazy, and arguably still is. It's called the Victory Lap. But, hang on for a second. What I mean by that is, think about virtually any platformer in your head right now. Now, think about the levels in that platformer. Almost every level follows the same basic cadence, right? Introduction, tutorialization, escalation, escalation, final exam. Now that's a good format, and it works well. But this designer had a slightly different idea. He added another step right at the end. The Victory Lap. You did it, you got past the hard part. Here's a section where you can just enjoy the fact that you did that. Actually, yeah, Dream Whisperer. And that's always sort of fascinated me a little bit. Because you don't really see that very often. But I get why he did that. I get the idea behind it. It's pretty much the reward. You did it. You got past the hard part. Here's the victory lap right before you go fight the boss. Not quite a Hyper Beam moment, but definitely the same mentality going into it. You may or may not have noticed several of these also include brand new mechanics, too. Not the tar, that's old. But, the thingamabobbers. Yeah, exactly. I didn't even know about this, by the way, until Yura, the Pulp People, actually mentioned this. And got it across in, I think it was the Mega Man 1 stuff she was talking about. And I decided to go looking into it, and found several interviews by the gentleman whose name I unfortunately don't remember, please forgive me, where he talked about this concept. And if you look at the level design of Mega Man 1, you'll see this everywhere. And again, this would persist through most of the NES Mega Man games, to some extent or another. In fact, if I can be bold for a second, I think the biggest thing that Mega Man 9 screwed up is it forgot about this concept. Because if you think about Mega Man 9's level design, I'm sure you can't picture it in your head right now off the top of your head, but I'll just tell you right now, the screen right before the boss is always the hardest. Often frustratingly so. And given how Mega Mans do their mid-mission checkpoints, which is usually literally in the middle of the stage, that means you have to go through the hard part of the stage and then the very hard part of the stage in one stretch before you actually then can go on to the boss fight. And yeah, exactly. Mega Man 9 has no proper cadence. It doesn't have tempo to its level design. It's one of the biggest flaws of that game. It's honestly shocking that 10 did so much better, but then again, I guess they just learned from it. 9 is probably the most difficult Mega Man game, but I don't actually mean that as a positive thing. 5 is probably the most properly difficult Mega Man game. Even people I know who have not really played Mega Man games tend to agree with that. Actually, you know what? You're absolutely right, Bladejaval. Sting Chameleon, Mega Man X1. Right towards the end, there's this extended section where you're given a freaking mech. And a whole bunch of enemies and an area designed to be traversed quickly. And yeah, another good example of that. Okay, so I liked World 7 in general. Yeah, obviously, I like Mega Man 11 the best, but I'm pretty sure 5 still holds the title as my second favorite Mega Man. If I had a nickel for every time a long-standing franchise has both 5 and 11 as my favorite franchise, I'd have 2 nickels. No, I'm dead serious. Because that's both Dragon Quest and Mega Man. No, those are still mostly just optional bonus stuff. Multiplayer. Final Fantasy. Yeah, the Final Fantasy numbered 11 is not my favorite. Or 5, actually, when we're on that subject. Now, here's a question. What's the 5th Zelda? Actually, while we're on the topic, what's the 11th Zelda? No, I've only really played 3 Dragon Quests on camera. Oh yeah, I remember this stage. Okay, so 5th is Ocarina. Alright, alright. Don't let Ross hear this, but that's actually not my favorite. So what's 11 then? I'm gonna laugh if it's like, oh god, I can't think of the name of it all of a sudden. Phantom Hourglass or something. Twilight is 11? Wait, hold up. Ocarina and Twilight are 5 and 11. Guys, have we discovered the numbers that govern the universe? Have we just stumbled upon the answer? Hold up. Okay, we're okay. We're okay. The 5th Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed 3. It's close, though, because the 6th Assassin's Creed is 4. And I was just thinking, hold up. But yeah, off by 1. Well, what am I missing, then? Because there's 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, 3, 4. Fifth Star Trek movie. And 11th. Yeah, that doesn't work. Yeah, we're not counting every game that has it in the name. That's just crazy talk. At that point, what the hell is Final Fantasy V? Let me phrase that differently. What is the 5th Final Fantasy game? That's actually an interesting question. What is the 5th game with Final Fantasy in the name? Yeah, what's the 5th Mario game? Well, actually, hang on, I can tell you. So if we're counting just mainline stuff, that's an interesting mechanic. That's still a good game, Dream Whisperer. It still counts. Doesn't it still count? Hang on, so 1 Lost Levels, 2, 3 World. Yeah, so Mario World would be 5. And then Yoshi's Island, 64, Sunshine. And then I guess next would be Galaxy 1, Galaxy 2. No, I'm missing the news. I forget where the news happened in this. Hold on. I know nobody cares except for me, but just give me a sec. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because New 1 was on the DS, and that's always earlier than I remember. This is far more important than Donkey Kong, you don't understand. Oh, here we go. So we're just going to list the main ones. There we go. Which is usually, it is collectively known as the Super Mario series. Stop. Okay, here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we count Mario Land, which I don't, for record, that would be 5, but Mario World is 5. Then we have, if you're wondering, by the way, that's a Wario game. That's why that's part of the Wario Land block. Anyways, so 5, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that would make New Super Mario Bros. Wii the 11th. No. I would say it's the worst of the new series, but I'm not a good liar. Although, hang on. On original hardware, it's the worst, so I guess that counts. Aw. Build that monkey! Sorry, Donkey, you've been replaced by AI. We do not count the iPad stuff. Oh my god. We have to draw the line somewhere. Although, what is the 11th Kingdom Hearts game? No technicalities. No random side stuff. What's the 11th Kingdom Hearts game? And the 5th, for that matter. Not counting the mobile game. Real games only. Well, Rax is frothing at the mouth. Birth by Sleep is 5. Melody is 11th, so 3 is 10th. I thought we were further along than that, honestly. Can I please get like a health or anything? Sure thing, Mr. Ed. Right after you successfully donate to me $40 million. Oh, that's unfair. I didn't even see him. Oh. That's like the only cheap shot in all of these stages so far. Was that cheap shot. Look, times are tough, Mr. Ed. Unless you're willing to give me enough money to rival Elon Musk. I don't know, man. In fact, just take all of Elon's money and give it to me. Just all of it. I guarantee you I will do a better job with it than he does. Oh, what do you know? You're right, but there's no. Yeah, low bar. I'm pretty sure if I gave that money to this cat, then, you know, the world would be a better place. I will review all of Wings Club if you give me $1 billion. That's my price for that one. I see what got me. Interesting. And this is going to see example what I mean by Victory Lap. They didn't have to do any of that. It's just a fun background story, right? No. You've locked it in, Mr. Ed. Contract written. We're good. No, J. Palmer, that was completely invented for the 3DS version. Would I buy a super yacht? Under any circumstances whatsoever? Let me put it this way. If I had the power of the Q, I still wouldn't get a yacht. Yeah, seriously, just buy a house by the ocean if that's what you want. Why not? Name one positive about a yacht. Just one. We all know the thousands and thousands of negatives to yachts. What does a yacht give you in exchange for the inordinate cost in both money and resources and environment and people? Yeah, yachts are black holes. This is not a joke. Like, you notice I'm not joking. Yachts are black holes. They are awful. They should not exist. Why did they invent yachts? So, anybody who knows anything about history knows that there's always been something, right? Something that you're supposed to have that is a sign. It's an indicator that you are above the other people. Sometimes it's certain types of dress, sometimes it's access to certain food, sometimes it's where you live. That's a yacht. Yachts are there because that's what rich people get. That is the exclusivity item right now. Salt. Yeah, that's another good one. No, that's what a boat is for, Ben. Speaking of which, I would much rather have a train than have a frickin' yacht. Trains are cool, first of all. Even a private jet has some validity in existing, although private jets are also hilariously wasteful. But at least you can do something with a frickin' private jet. A business jet, depends on how often it's used by how many people, for what things. Yeah, like, to use a made-up example, let's say there's Made-Up-istan, right? And Made-Up-istan has the primary diplomat of that country, which is Mr. Red. I'm just going to keep picking on you, because you were the last person to talk. And Mr. Red, in his job as a diplomat who goes to other countries on a weekly basis, he could get a lot of use out of having a private jet because his job is to travel all the freaking time at a moment's notice, too. Because a diplomat's job isn't static, right? It's not like, all right, on the 15th of August, I'm going to go... No. You need to get out there now because, oh my god, some idiot with a tank has decided to make an issue in Otheristan. Those are both good questions. Colgrim, and valid. Embassy is more for people in the country. So, for example, if I have an embassy, I live in Volcanoia, and in Volcanoia I have an embassy set up in Maidapistan. So, I probably still want and need a diplomat because that embassy is for my citizens in Maidapistan. It's for our interests in Maidapistan. It's not for meeting with the other heads of state, especially on a moment's notice. Yeah, also, security is a huge issue, and there's another thing, too. We're human beings. I know that most of the people in chat are going to disagree with this, but we value face-to-face interactions. And about certain things at certain levels of sensitivity, talking to a person face-to-face is just a more preferable situation than a phone call. Yes, I understand the value of the red phone. Thank you very much. Oh my god, I need to go. I need to go right now. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Health tax. Health tax. Oh my god. And I'm dead. I like it, Melkor Blade. Legally speaking, yes, J. Palmer. Okay, so we're going to try not to be on the death cycle this time. Okay. Nope. So speaking as someone who greatly values space, I don't know. Pull for hell. Like, I would love to live in a big and partially empty house, but A, I value space. B, my definition of big is a lot smaller than what you're talking about. And C, I would probably want that to be a home for multiple people. And also, you know, have visiting areas and places where the kids can play and blah, 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 blah. In short, it's just another way to show off that you're rich. One of the oldest things that has been valued in human existence is just straight up land. So having a bigger house is supposed to equal you're more rich, because you have land to put it on. Now that's obviously not necessarily linearly true, but that's where that comes from. That's been true for centuries at this point. Yeah, that's another thing. I very, very much want my own garden. I do. Absolutely, 100%. I am very unashamed of that. I want to grow my own tomatoes. Have you ever smelled homegrown tomatoes? It's a unique smell, in my opinion, because you don't find that anywhere else. Certainly not in the grocery store. Okay, so that is a good question, Dream Whisperer. I do not know. I'm actually shutting off the guessing game now. Also, grapefruit. That's another one. I've talked about this before. Most people don't know this, but whatever you've tasted in a grocery store, that's not what grapefruit tastes like. Grapefruit has a whole different flavor profile if you get it off of the tree. It's weird. Carrots. I want to grow carrots. Let's see. Strawberries. Cherries. A lot of fruit. Watermelons, maybe. That's maybe. Watermelons take a lot of water. And some upkeep and maintenance because they're vines. So yes, I believe this is the OG level. Yes, Golden Temple. This is it. This is our last stage. And this is the stage that was in the Wii version. This is what you unlocked for getting all of the golden, getting all the pearls back in the original. Why, yes, it's a nonsense level. Because of course it is. And death. apples. That's another one. I will probably not get an apple tree. I think I've mentioned this before. I used to do work for my grandfather's apple orchard. Great-grandfather's apple orchard. And, yeah. I miss apples off the tree. Yeah, by the way, what this means is, canonically, in the original game, Donkey and Diddy both ate the golden fruit of a golden banana and then ended up here. So, you can presume from that whatever you wish. But I think we all know what happened. Why, yes, the cherries are exploding. Thank you for asking. By the way, did you notice that? Because there are no checkpoints on this stage. So, that sucks. Yeah, it's treated like one of the Kong levels. I'm also doing this stupidly without Diddy, which I really should not be doing. Alright, in the interest of getting this on with, let's just give up forever. You know, another fruit that I wish I could have, which I probably won't, because this is another one of those expensive, time-consuming, etc. fruits. Pomegranate. When I used to live down in Escondido, in Southern California, we had pomegranate trees. And I have never been able to encounter anything like that. It's rare to find pomegranates in the grocery store in general, never mind like that. Oh, it's tons of work, Dream Whisperer. I didn't mind them. You know me. Have I ever minded hard work? What's the easiest fruit to grow? Zucchini. Okay, I know that's not a fruit. So we're just gonna pop everything. No, didn't wanna. Yeah, exactly. Played Chival. I knew what I was getting into. Hell, I'd still be going if I hadn't blown some items at the boss. Listen, sometimes you just gotta flex the damage right off you. This is what Chris should have done back in 6. I'm still not joking about that. Notice how long this stage is, by the way. Enemies with homing attacks. Single width platforms that move. And it's long. Unlike every other stage here, this is not a good stage. Also, the bluebirds actually lose height as you're standing on them. I disagree with that. Hope you don't have depth perception issues. There. Jesus. Did you notice the hardest part was right at the end, by the way? This goes right back to what we were just talking about with regards to cadence and that whole victory lap thing. So you're probably wondering what we just unlocked. You can now play in mirror mode. In this mode, Donkey Kong does not receive any help from Diddy Kong and cannot use inventory items. He also has one less heart. Now, to be clear, on the original Wii version, what that means is Oko mode. That's what mirror mode means. No items, no hover, one health. If ever there was something covered by PFR, that's it. Imagine some of the stages in this game like that. Just picture some of them. Knock. Knock. Now, in this exact mode, we actually have 2 health. This is why the max percentage on this game is 200%, by the way. 100% for getting everything the first playthrough, 100% for getting everything in mirror mode. I have never 100%ed this game. Let me block that sentence back. I've never 200%ed this game. That would have been death right there. Did you notice that the Donkey Kong barrel obviously didn't give me Diddy, but it also didn't heal me? Hello, Evo. Welcome to hell. Now, I make that distinction because I actually have really 100% of everything in Tropical Freeze twice. Once in the Wii U and once in the Switch. Knock. Uh-oh. Evo's in a good mood. I'm terrified. What horrible thing has happened, Evo? Just tell me. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Yeah, anyone in chat actually 200% this game? At least checkpoints are still in. Anyways. No, this is crazy. I understand that that's the point of a super optional, but you can go suck a lemon. Ooh, quiche. And praise. All deserved. Oh, I haven't earned it yet, have I? Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, we're good. No, it actually should do. Because I'm sure you'd prefer it. A lot of people, Melkor. That's the horrible part. I mean, that is entirely possible, Wolverine. Sticker Star, the awful block is kind of exaggeratively named. I don't think any of the games in that block will score well. They're all bad games, but most of them are bad games because they're old, right? Like Prince of Persia DOS, and of course it's a bad game. It's a DOS game. Sticker Star really has no excuse. No, Colbram. We're not there yet. Someday. Hopefully. So here's something that's going to sound funny. I gave 8 total visual positives. Nope, that's wrong. 10 total visual positives to this game. That probably sounds like a lot. It's not. That's actually relatively low for this type of game. Obviously, Celeste just cracks that in half. Shovel Knight had way better than that. Mario Wonder, like, absolutely destroys that. Yoshi's Island had better than that, etc., etc. Yeah, the visuals are fine. And that's really what that boils down to. You want to see a bunch of visual positives, Tropical Freeze is probably going to destroy on that. It is Kennex Cow. I noticed that myself because several of the worlds didn't even deserve a positive. New Super Mario Bros. Wii got 2. Well, I was going to say Mario Galaxy might be an interesting comparison, but actually Mario Galaxy didn't get a lot either, really. Galaxy and Galaxy 2 both had the same problem in that, unlike a lot of other Mario games, they didn't have a lot of visual cohesion, which meant there wasn't a lot of brickwork. Like, there just wasn't brickwork. Didn't exist. You're in space with random chunks of debris and geometry. There were some exceptions to that, but they didn't score super high. That's 3 platformers on the way that didn't score super high visually. And yes, Evo, I have. hurts. Sorry, I'm going to close my eyes during the lunch break, so I might be a little bit late in coming back, because I do not feel well at all. No, I will. I'm going to eat something, take some pain pills with that, and then close my eyes for a bit. And then die. Not necessarily in that order. Yes, Jay Palmer. Ugh. Burns. What? So I was just looking at the level positives and thinking, that's a lot of level positives. And it is. But there's a reason we have that term net, right? So, like, for example, on the face of it, that's more level positives than Celeste got. Wow, that's pretty impressive, right? Well, now let's add up the level negatives. Oh, it didn't even occur to me. I'm sorry, Dream Whisperer. So you can tell I'm not doing great. There were more levels, by quite a bit. And yeah, that is a lot of level. So net. Yeah, that's less level positive net. Than Super Mario World. And you know what? Actually, I think I stand by that. I think that sounds about right. Super Mario World isn't exactly known for having the best level design in the universe, but it's pretty consistently solid, and doesn't have the massive ups and downs that this one does. Net negative on bosses. Yeah, that sounds about right. Alright, there's two of these. Okay. How replayable do we feel like this game is? Let me just get that out of the way first. Glance through the rest of these really quick. I mean, I'm never replaying it, but if I feel like it, I might finish out the K levels I didn't do, and that's it. How replayable is this game, given that there's a point at which you just put the game down? Well, yeah, exactly, Jay Bowman. Hey, play the same game, but this time with no items, no Diddy, and 1 health. And no, there's no real progression. There's no Mega Man-iness. There's no routing to speak of. Yeah, no real power-ups either. Mario games at least have power-ups, which can vary things up. Wait, there's no co-op in mirror mode? I... It's local co-op, same screen. It's actually decent co-op except when it's buggy or bad. Which I know sounds like a weird sentence, but what I mean is most of the time it's actually pretty legit co-op. And then there are specific levels and stages where it's actively awful. No, one player is Donkey Kong, the other player is Diddy Kong. It depends on your preference, Benoit. I prefer it personally, but it's harder to do. It is. Doing same screen involves doing some wonky and interesting stuff with the camera to make sure that the camera works. Because if both players go in opposite directions, the camera suddenly needs to decide what it's doing. And a lot of camera movement is manual in stages like in this game. So there's a whole scripting layer underneath that just to handle camera for co-op. Yeah, me too, Melker. Haven't had time. Yeah, split screen is much easier to do. The downside is, of course, you're playing off of half a screen. I think that's it, actually. So, plus 11 to story. Have a gimme there as well. That depends on preference again, although ideally it should be an option. I mean, I knew that was going to happen. That's just where we're at. Now, I'm not going to do a lot of 2D platformer comparisons because I still need to finish that audit, but I'll tell you how this lines up to some other games. So, okay, just for a bit of perspective, Celeste, which we just covered, got 281, so it's not going to be that high. I'm just going to say that. DuckTales Remastered managed 67. Okay, so there's our stretch right there. Well, Mario World is 126. So, final score. Plus 11 to story, which is actually dead average for 2D platformers, which sounds about right. We've covered some really highs and some not so highs. How do you emulate a Switch 2? That was 1 positive per hour to story and 100% ratio. Pretty standard for a 2D platform. None of that's unusual. Gameplay. Plus 38, that is above average, and As much as I have frustrations with this game, I do have to admit that makes sense. There is still a lot of good game design, a lot of good levels in this game. So, plus 38. That's 3.31 pluses per hour, which again is it's a platformer. And a ratio of 70%, which is actually a little bit low. What? Hang on. There we go. Sorry. Giving us a final golden number of... please. I'm going to pull up the guessing sheet to see who won here. That's a close one. Appropriate music. That's funny. $100. See, yeah, great game. Let's just get that out of the way. For all its flaws and frustrations, it is still a great game. There's just too much good here for it not to be. 120. As a reminder, Mario World got 126. So this got 121.82. Still a very good game, but basically right around where Mario World is. That also means Pancakes wins this one. Congrats, Pancakes. Pancakes puts that towards Skyrim, Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and most importantly of all, the Awful block, which is already funded. Please pick something else, Pancakes. Yeah, you were right there. Blade Devil and Dream Whisperer were literally 0.82 away. Either way, I hope you all have enjoyed. Like I said, I'm going to go lay down and close my eyes for a bit. And hopefully that's going to help whatever's going on up here. Otherwise, I'll see you next. There will be a second stream today. Tropical Freeze.